Hello and welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Today, we are leaving the sunlit world behind. We are descending into the eternal twilight of the bathypelagic zone, a place where the pressure is crushing, the temperature hovers near freezing, and the darkness is absolute. For millions of years, a silhouette has moved across the silt of the ocean floor in this alien environment. It is an armored giant, a creature of segmented plating and ancient design, scavenging the seabed with the silent determination of a machine. To the human eye, it looks like something out of a science fiction nightmare, or perhaps a science fiction blockbuster. In early 2025, a team of scientists pulled this leviathan from the depths of the South China Sea, looked upon its broad, helmet-like head, and saw a face that was undeniably familiar. They saw an icon of pop culture villainy. They named it Bathynomus vaderi, the Vader Isopod. In this episode, we are going to dive deep into the story of this newly identified supergiant. We will explore the biological phenomenon that allows it to grow to such massive sizes, the genetic secrets hidden in its DNA that allow it to survive in the abyss, and the strange modern twist of fate that has turned this deep-sea scavenger from a scientific curiosity into a luxury meal on the streets of Vietnam. Let's start with the discovery itself, because the story of Bathynomus vaderi does not begin on a high-tech research vessel, but rather in the bustling chaos of a Vietnamese port. For years, fishermen operating deep-sea trawlers in the South China Sea had been hauling up massive armored sea bugs, known locally as bo bian. For a long time, these creatures were considered bycatch, strange curiosities discarded or sold for pennies. But as the global appetite for exotic seafood expanded, these massive isopods began appearing more frequently in the markets of Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. It was amidst this commercial trade that science finally caught up. A team of researchers from the National University of Singapore, the Indonesian Institute of Sciences, and the Vietnam Academy of Science and Technology realized that the giant isopods being sold were not all the same. While species like Bathynomus jamesi and Bathynomus kinsleyii were known to inhabit the region, some specimens stood out. In 2023, a team led by the renowned carcinologist Peter Eng began a detailed examination of specimens collected near the Spratly Islands. They noticed distinct features. The most striking was the shape of the cephalon, or head. It possessed a high, arching structure with specific contours that gave it a hooded, helmeted appearance. When viewed head-on, the resemblance was uncanny. The sloping, armored head shield, the large, reflective compound eyes, and the grim mandibles created a visage eerily reminiscent of Darth Vader's mask. In January 2025, they published their findings in the journal Zookeys and officially christened the species Bathynomus vaderi. But this creature is more than just a biological novelty with a catchy name. It is a testament to the power of evolutionary adaptation. Bathynomus vaderi belongs to a group known as the supergiants. In the world of Bathynomus, size matters for classification. Giants are generally considered adults between 8 and 15 centimeters. Supergiants are those massive adults that exceed 17 centimeters, often growing well past 30 centimeters or 12 inches. Bathynomus vaderi is a titan among its kind, weighing more than a kilogram and dwarfing the common garden pillbugs to which it is distantly related. Morphologically, it is distinguished by several subtle but crucial anatomical features. It possesses a unique bony ridge protruding from its coracoid bone, a pronounced depression in the hip bone of its legs, and upwardly curved caudal spines on its tail armor. These spines give the tail a serrated, weaponized look, a necessary defense in a world where everything is trying to eat everything else. This brings us to the most common question people ask when they see a foot-long isopod. Why are they so big? This phenomenon is known as abyssal gigantism, or deep-sea gigantism. We see it in the colossal squid, the Japanese spider crab, and the seven-armed octopus. For isopods, the contrast is stark. Their terrestrial cousins rarely exceed a centimeter. Bathynomus vaderi is over 20 times their size. There are several converging theories to explain this. First, we have Kleiber's rule and metabolic efficiency. Kleiber's law states that an animal's metabolic rate scales to the 3/4 power of its mass. In the deep sea, food is scarce. The environment is oligotrophic, meaning nutrient levels are incredibly low. A larger body size confers a metabolic advantage because larger animals have a lower metabolic rate per unit of mass compared to smaller ones. This allows the Vader Isopod to operate on a highly efficient energy budget. It can swim for longer distances in search of food and survive longer periods of starvation. This is critical when your next meal might be a whale carcass that falls once every decade. Second, we have Bergmann's rule regarding temperature. The near-freezing temperatures of the deep ocean, typically around 4 degrees Celsius, slow down cell proliferation and metabolism. This slow life history allows for continuous, indeterminate growth. Unlike many terrestrial animals that stop growing upon reaching maturity, deep-sea crustaceans often continue to grow throughout their extended lifespans. They do not live fast and die young. They live slowly and grow massively. Third is the cell size hypothesis. Research suggests that their large size is not just due to having more cells, but having larger cells. Low temperature increases blood viscosity and makes oxygen transport more difficult. Larger cells have a more favorable surface area to volume ratio for certain metabolic processes in cold environments. Furthermore, in the high oxygen environment of cold, deep water, gigantism is less constrained by respiratory limits. Finally, there is the concept of ecological release. In shallow waters, a slow-moving foot-long crustacean would be an easy snack for large predatory fish. The deep sea, however, has lower predation pressure. This ecological release allows the isopod to grow to sizes that would be evolutionarily suicidal in the reef zones above. The heavy armor of Bathynomus vaderi is likely sufficient defense against many of the smaller, energy-conserving predators of the abyss. But the adaptations are not just physical, they are genetic. While the specific genome of Bathynomus vaderi is still being analyzed, we can draw inferences from its sister supergiant, Bathynomus jamesi. In 2022, a groundbreaking study revealed that these creatures possess the largest genome of any crustacean sequenced to date, approximately 5.89 gigabases. The supergiant isopod genome is riddled with transposable elements, often called jumping genes. These are sequences of DNA that can move around the genome. In these isopods, these elements make up a staggering 84% of the genome. Scientists believe this is an evolutionary toolkit. The proliferation of jumping genes promotes genetic plasticity, allowing the genome to change more rapidly to help the organism adapt to extreme stressors like crushing pressure, darkness, and hypoxia. The genome also shows expanded gene families related to thyroid and insulin hormone signaling pathways. In other animals, these are critical regulators of growth. This suggests a genetic foot on the gas pedal for size. Their metabolic pathways are tuned for lipid accumulation. Bathynomus vaderi is essentially a biological battery. Its body is packed with lipid reserves, stored in a specialized fat body distributed throughout its tissues. This inefficient lipid degradation is a feature, not a bug. It allows the animal to hoard energy from a single meal to fuel its massive body for years. And speaking of meals, let's talk about the diet of a monster. Bathynomus vaderi lives in the South China Sea basin, plunging to depths of over 5,000 meters. It is a scavenger, a necrophage, a specialist in eating the dead. Its primary food source is marine snow, the ceaseless shower of organic detritus falling from the sunlit waters above. But its massive size requires more substantial feasts. The defining event in the life of a Vader Isopod is a whale fall. When a whale dies and sinks to the bottom, it creates a temporary ecosystem. Bathynomus are among the first responders. They are gorgers. Their physiology is adapted to eat catastrophic amounts of food in a single sitting. A Vader Isopod can distend its stomach to fill almost its entire body cavity. It will eat until it is physically unable to move, anchoring itself to the carcass with its hooked legs. Once full, it may enter a state of semi-torpor, digesting its meal for months or even years. In captivity, giant isopods have famously survived for over 5 years without a single meal. But there is a twist to this story, in a turn of events that Darth Vader himself might find ironic. The Vader Isopod has become a sought-after commodity, not for its scientific value, but for its taste. Since around 2017, a culinary trend has emerged in Vietnam for consuming giant isopods. They are marketed as dragons of the sea. Restaurants specialize in exotic seafood and display live Bathynomus vaderi in tanks, highlighting their alien appearance to attract adventurous diners and social media influencers. The creatures are typically prepared by steaming or grilling. Gastronomes describe the meat as resembling lobster or crab, but with a unique texture. It is sweeter than shrimp but denser, often compared to monkfish. The taste is reportedly intense, a concentration of the deep ocean's briny essence. Due to the difficulty of trawling at depths of 500 meters or more, a single large specimen can fetch prices upwards of $100 in high-end seafood markets. The visual shock value of the isopod, with its legs, armor, and Vader face intact, has made it a viral sensation on platforms like TikTok. But this popularity raises ethical and health concerns. As scavengers, isopods can bioaccumulate heavy metals like cadmium and mercury found in the deep sea sediment. Furthermore, their digestive tracts often contain whatever fell to the ocean floor, including plastics. A study of Bathynomus in other regions found significant amounts of microplastics in their stomachs, a grim reminder of human pollution reaching the deepest places on Earth. This brings us to the urgent issue of conservation. The formal description of Bathynomus vaderi comes with a warning. The South China Sea is one of the most ecologically stressed bodies of water on the planet. The primary method for catching these isopods is bottom trawling. This involves dragging heavy weighted nets across the seafloor, which is indiscriminate and destructive. It destroys the delicate habitats of deep-sea corals and sponges. While the species is not currently listed as endangered, largely due to a lack of data, its biological traits make it highly vulnerable. They have low fecundity, meaning they produce relatively few offspring, and they grow incredibly slowly. It takes years, perhaps decades, for a supergiant isopod to reach reproductive maturity. Removing large adults from the population for the seafood trade could lead to a rapid collapse of the stock, similar to the boom and bust cycle seen in other deep-sea fisheries like the orange roughy. The researchers who discovered Bathynomus vaderi emphasize the urgent need to understand deep-sea biodiversity before it is lost. They argue for better regulation of deep-sea fisheries and the establishment of marine protected areas in the deep basins. In conclusion, Bathynomus vaderi is a creature of dualities. It is a monster of the abyss and a marvel of evolution. It is a scavenger of the dead and a recycler of energy that keeps the deep ocean functioning. Naming it after Darth Vader was a stroke of genius, not just for the resemblance but for the thematic resonance. Like the Star Wars villain, the Isopod is armored, mysterious, and dwells in the dark side of the biosphere. But unlike the Sith Lord, this creature is not a villain. It is a vital component of our planetary ecosystem. As we stare into the compound eyes of the Vader Isopod, we see our pop culture reflected in its name, our consumption reflected in its fate, and our scientific curiosity reflected in its discovery. The challenge now is to ensure that this dark lord of the deep continues to reign in its abyssal kingdom, rather than becoming just another ghost in the fossil record. Thank you for listening to G Fun Facts Online. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe for more stories from the frontiers of science.